Imagine you're locked inside your own house. Every single door is bolted from the inside. Every window is nailed shut, locked tight against the outside world. There is no basement, no chimney, no way in or out. Suddenly, your neighbors hear screaming. They call the cops. The police arrive, break their way inside, and find you dead on the floor, shot multiple times. Here is the kicker. The room is still completely locked from the inside. There is no weapon anywhere in the room. There are no footprints, no secret passages, and absolutely zero way for a killer to get in or out. This isn't a fictional plot from a horror movie or an Agatha Christie novel. This actually happened, and to this day, it remains one of the greatest, most chilling unsolved mysteries in New York City history. Grab your blocks, because we are diving into the baffling case of Isadore Fink. It was March 9th, 1929, in New York City. Our victim was a 30-year-old laundry worker named Isadore Fink. Isadore was described by everyone who knew him as a quiet, unassuming guy. He kept to himself, worked hard, and lived in a small apartment attached to his wash house, located at 4 East 132nd Street. On this particular night, Isadore was inside his apartment. Around 10 p.m., a neighbor living nearby heard a sudden, violent commotion. There were loud screams, a scuffle, and the heavy thud of blows echoing through the walls. Then, silence. Realizing something terrible was wrong, the neighbor immediately called the police. Officers rushed to the scene, arriving in minutes. They pounded on Isadore's door. Nothing. They tried the knob. It was completely locked. They threw their weight against the wood, but the heavy security bolts on the inside held firm. Now, pay close attention to this part because this is where the physics of the crime completely break down. The apartment had a front door and a few windows. The police checked the windows. Every single one of them was latched, nailed shut, and covered by iron security bars from the inside. There was a small transom window, a narrow glass panel sitting high up above the door, but it was too small for an adult to crawl through, and it was firmly shut. The police were completely stumped. They couldn't break the door down without heavy tools, so they did the next best thing. They boosted a skinny young boy up through that tiny transom window. The boy wriggled through, dropped down inside, and unlocked the front door for the cops. The officers flooded into the room, expecting to catch a burglar or find a wounded man. Instead, what they found defied logic. Lying dead on the floor was Isadore Fink. He had been shot twice in the chest and once in the left wrist. The police immediately secured the perimeter, thinking the killer must still be hiding inside. They searched every single inch of the apartment. They looked under the bed, inside the closets, behind the laundry equipment. Nobody was there. Not only was the killer gone, but no weapon was found anywhere in the room. No gun on the floor, no gun hiding in the laundry baskets. Nowhere. Let's re-verify the environment. The door was bolted from the inside. The only way it was unbolted was when the young boy unlocked it from the inside after police arrived. The windows were nailed and barred shut, with undisturbed dust and cobwebs lining the frames, proving they hadn't been opened in a very long time. The transom window was closed, and even if someone did squeeze through it, they couldn't have relocked the heavy door bolts from the outside on their way out. There was no fireplace, no chimney, and no basement crawl space. Think about that for a second. If you lock yourself in a room, nail the windows shut, and someone shoots you dead, how on earth does the shooter vanish into thin air, taking the murder weapon with them? Naturally, the media caught wind of the story, and the headlines went wild. Was it a supernatural haunting? A demon? A ghost? The newspapers called it the ultimate impossible crime. But the police had to find a rational explanation. The NYPD detectives in charge of the case refused to believe in ghosts. They put their heads together to come up with physical theories to explain how this murder happened. Theory number 1. The killer climbed up the outside of the building, reached through the open transom window, and shot Isadore. Detectives quickly debunked this. Isadore had distinct powder burns on his left wrist. Gunpowder burns only happen when a gun is fired at extremely close range, usually within a foot or two. Furthermore, the transom was actually closed when police arrived. If a killer fired through it, how did they close it afterward? And more importantly, how did the gun disappear? Theory number 2. Isadore committed suicide. This makes zero sense for a few reasons. First, you can't shoot yourself 3 times, including a defensive wound through your own wrist, hide the gun somewhere impossible, and then somehow lock all the doors and windows from the outside. Also, nothing was stolen, but Isadore's pockets showed signs of a struggle. Theory number 3. The suicide by clever mechanism. or an assassin using a rig. Some armchair detectives suggested the killer built some kind of contraption that fired a gun and then pulled it back out through a string or pulley system. But police scoured the exterior walls and roof. There were no hooks, no strings, no tracks, and no evidence of any mechanical setup. The case completely baffled law enforcement. Years later, even the legendary New York Police Commissioner Edward Mulrooney publicly admitted that the Isadore Fink murder was an insoluble mystery. He confessed that the police department had absolutely no idea how it happened, who did it, or how the killer escaped. Decades have passed since that strange night in March 1929, and forensic science has advanced light years ahead. Yet, the death of Isadore Fink remains completely unexplained. It sits comfortably in history alongside ghost ships and urban legends, a true glitch in reality where the laws of physics simply failed. What do you think happened? Was it an ultra-clever assassin who slipped away like a ghost? Or is there a mundane detail history forgot? Let me know your craziest theories in the comments below. If you enjoyed this dive into the impossible, hit that subscribe button for more dark mysteries and gaming content. Thank you for watching, keep building, and I'll see you in the next one.